Hey there, everybody, just got done watching the Elon Musk Donald Trump interview, so it's time to talk about it. Hey everybody, this is Tom with Tom's Talk Show, and I'm coming back on the air, taking some time off, had some family issues, different things going on, but we just got done watching the Elon Musk, or listening to, as it is, the Elon Musk Donald Trump interview. I did watch where Trump went golfing with this Demo Camp or something. I forget what his name is, but golfing thing, and they're just wandering around golfing and doing things, and they're playing off the front red tees, and Trump actually eagled one hole by himself, which is amazing for a guy of his age. I don't think Biden could ever even attempt to do that. But so they sit down, and of course, the first thing that happens with that is this giant. I went to the attack maps. Since I'm an IT person, I know when things start happening, I go to attack maps and see what's going on and how the internet is going, and this major attack thing going on all over, headed into the United States to try and block this and take down this interview, which eventually they did not. They were able to keep it going and get it up and start it working. So that was very good. They talked about a few things. I mean, they even though Trump, of course, said that he's not going to talk about this is the only time he's ever going to talk about the assassination attempt at the Republican convention. Of course, take that with a grain of salt. He's obviously not going to do that. He's going to repeat that here and there when it's of benefit, right? He's being a politician, so that he's going to do that. And Elon Musk brought it up, and so they did talk about it. That was the first few minutes, and I kind of tweeted out a little bit. It's like, let's move on. We know this, and this is it's an important thing, but I think we can move on. I want to hear one, what policies do you have? What are you going to do? What's your change to everything? And then they move to of course, immigration, which is let's move things back to the way internationally it should be, which is if you need asylum, you go to the embassy in the country that you're trying to get out of, and then you apply there for asylum or whatever it is. If you really have to, if you're really trying to get away from something, if you're just trying to come into the country just for whatever reason, then yeah, like they both discussed, right? A lot of the people that are coming in are probably fine. They're trying to get to their families that have already, been here for a while, different things like that. Sure. But we don't know, and we need to know, right? You need to know who is coming in and what's going on, how these people are getting into the country and why. Because Trump's always on his thing that other countries are letting their prisons out. And I'm sure that is a percentage, right? If you had another country that you could just, empty your prison out, send everybody to a different country, that means you're not paying for their food, you're not paying for, to house them, you're not paying anything, for these people to be in your country, then yeah, why wouldn't you do that? And that's fully what the Biden-Harris administration is doing. I hate using their borders are, but Kamala was put in charge of handling the border, and all that she could, come up with is answer the question of whether she's been to the border or not, and she just says, "I've never been to Europe." Well, okay, you're a moron, as we all know. But so that was a pretty good conversation, and just being able to get it to where let's, vet people coming in. I mean, my ancestors are way back. One side of my family came over on the Mayflower, so kind of fairly original settlers. The other side came over a little later after the United States had been formed, and they separated, from their families in Europe because they were going to become, Americans and be an American culture and be all part of it, which is not what people are coming in. You're seeing what's going on in Europe, right? There's, Muslims have taken over. They're changing the whole country over there, some countries over there, just to be complete Muslim countries. And a lot of people don't want that. They don't believe that, because Muslim and government are one. They're one and in the same. Where here we're like, no, government and faith and belief are separate, and that's how it should be. Okay. So of course they cover, that Kamala Biden are both idiots. Elon made some great points about global security, right? He needs to be able to, Elon, he needs to be able to sell his cars everywhere. He needs to be able to, run business everywhere. And if there's global insecurity, then that's, not good for him, not good for people in general. And he was mentioning that nobody's afraid. Nobody's afraid of Biden. Nobody's afraid of Kamala. They're just, whatever. Just, go over there. Just, don't bother me. You're gonna do what the countries are gonna do what they're gonna do, and have no kickback from the United States. They did move finally to the economy, and that was I loved that part. That was like, okay, let's get into some meat here. What are we doing about the economy? And Trump needed to say something more than just the drill baby drill thing, because that's people don't have a concept of what exactly that might mean. And what it comes down to, right, is energy independence. So if we produce enough energy to put that out to other countries, what that will do is drive energy prices down. So if there's, if we have more oil than we need, if you've seen the, let me see if I can find this. Real quick. This right here. This, see, there's a graph here somewhere. Here we go. This should scare everyone in the United States. The stock of the SPR, the oil reserve in the United States. It is now, so here, right, it's up pretty high, and then Biden comes in office and boom, down to nothing. We're now up to 372,000 barrels. We were up at 700 in 2010. We were up at 720,000 barrels. So this is crude oil that the United States needs to use to defend itself in case somebody comes after us. So, and with energy prices so high, right? We came fairly close to what it started with, in the 1980s. So just horrible mismanagement of oil and everything else. And the only reason that we were, had oil released was so that, Biden could fake dropping the oil price. So he would release, just enough oil to cover 1 day's worth of energy in the United States. So he's not thinking, whoever it is, it's just all political maneuvers instead of actually protecting the country. And if we get the price of oil down, then we can quickly refill this and replenish this. And this is a, kind of a safety thing for the country. And what that does, so if oil prices are down, energy prices are down, you have, oil, refined oil, gas. There's still some coal out there used to generate some electricity still. But if your energy prices are down, what does that do? That means, you think, oh, well, that means it's going to be cheaper for me to put gas in my car. So much more than that, right? Every product that you get comes on a diesel truck. So if you lower that cost of getting you that product from the diesel truck, it's going to lower the cost of the product, lower the cost, make it easier for you to buy it. And if gas prices are down for your car, that means you have more money to buy that. So this is, going to be just a complete switch. Also, all freight ships diesel powered. run on fuel. Uh, you have a lot of gas uh, uh, systems that generate power. So electric plants run on gas, natural gas. Um, so that's going to then make it cheaper for the store that you're buying things from to run their lights, to have lights on, refrigeration, and everything inside the building. Well, if that cost is dropped by 30, 40, 50%, then they can lower the price of your food, your clothes, anything that your electronics, anything that you want to buy, right? That's going to be lower because of all that energy coming out. So this really has, I mean, it's not a perfect solution. There are other things, in play. I mean, if you look at McDonald's, they have, even though their prices are going up and everything, they're still posting, huge profits because they're kind of beholden to their, investors and their stockholders, right? So they've been using, the $20 an hour thing in California and, raising wages in other states and things like that to, pad their wallet basically and help out their stockholders, right? So at some point, and like everything, that's the capitalist market, right? If at some point prices are too high, you've been padding your, wallet too much, then people are going to stop buying your things. So then you're going to go, oh crap, we've been charging people too much, so let's lower prices and let's get people to come back. But I mean, too many companies have since destroyed, right, their reputation that people aren't going back. I mean, like Bud Light. I used to go to a friend's house and we would have Bud Lights all the time. Nope, have never gone back, not even looking. So, there are things like that happen. But for restaurants and stores that have been overcharging, trying to pad their stockholders, investments and help that out, once people stop going there, then they have to lower prices back to try and get people to come back. Because if you have nobody shopping there, it's not going to help your stockholders at all because you're going to get no income. So it's a back and forth fluctuating thing. There are going to be companies that are just greedy, and that's the way it is. But then there are going to be companies that, actually do the right thing and, set the prices at a correct level. Not to have a complete, economy, program here, but that's kind of what they were talking about. And they actually kind of got into that, Trump talking about that. And that's like, yes, you need to let people know this is what it is and this is why it is. Because in general, most people don't know how the economy works. They, schools in the country don't really do much for kids and learning how government systems work. Okay. So Elon also said the other big thing about the economy is to stop government overspending. We cannot give people money paying off their student loans. That's just horrible. We cannot just blanket, pay off people's loans and things. It's just not a way to, keep things going in the country, and paying people to stay home all the time. And, all that just doesn't work. Right. That's just going to increase what everything costs. So Elon was saying, we need to have a government efficiency commission that he said he would love to help Trump with. I mean, that would be just amazing. I mean, if, somebody who has a good head on their shoulders like Elon Musk, I mean, he is a little bit liberal. He is a little bit wacky in some places. Like he's got like more than 10 children, some with surrogate mothers or something, and who knows, all over the place. I wouldn't be for that, but he, that's how he is. So he can afford it, to pay for the kids and everything else. So there you go. But he would definitely be somebody to trust. Get a couple of these big business people who understand business and how things are supposed to work, and business and efficiency. Having just people who have been in the government forever, never worked in a business, don't understand that if you raise, minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 an hour, companies are going to react. They're going to cut staff. They're going to cut hours. Last thing I saw that people who got bumped up to $20 an hour had their hours cut and their time cut at their job so much that they're now making less than they were when it was $16 an hour. So these people in government have no idea. They created a fast food workers union, and they're we're going to do this thing, and then none of them realize what it actually happens in the real world, in the real business world. So yeah, so this efficiency thing, get rid of all that. I watched a couple of videos about Justice Gorsuch, who wrote a book about this, overruled too many rules in government, and Trump was taking care of that. They mentioned that he was trying to, every rule that you put in place, you got to get rid of too, every single time, and that will help build confidence back into the government. I would say even go further than that. Every rule you make, you get rid of 5, right? Really start pushing that. Some states have actually had agencies, government agencies, if they're not reapproved every so many years, they go away. And laws that are on the books need to be reviewed every 5 years or something, or every 4 years, whatever the cycle might be. And if you don't need that law anymore, delete it. That's the Democrat lie about people wanting to get rid of, they want to get rid of Social Security and Medicare. No, they want all law in government to expire. And then at that end of the expiration, you review what programs and everything are in place, and the ones that you want to keep, you reapprove for the next time. If you need to make some adjustments in how it works, great. Maybe that'll make it more efficiency. If you have a government efficiency commission, then use that and put that in place and review these things and make them more efficient, because the government needs to stop spending all this money and we need to not send another dime to Ukraine and all that. I mean, that's the other thing that they talked about was none of this stuff should have happened. I mean, we should not have pushed NATO into making Ukraine part of NATO. That's one of the things that Russia did not want. Go back to, the U.S. pulling a little bit further out of NATO, not providing so much money and funding and all that stuff, which would help us to not, we need to fund ourselves, even more. Okay. So they did cover just for a second all the trials and cases and everything else that's going on with Trump, which I'm, they are their witch hunt. I was also listening to a Tucker Carlson thing about the Nixon Watergate stuff, and that's kind of when this whole Democrat lawfare started, and they continue to press and sue the other side and try and jail the other side and disgrace the other. The Democrat Party really is not anything what it should be at all. I mean, if you're a middle of the road kind of moderate Democrat, you want people to be able to, raise their kids, have housing, get food and have a decent job. And whenever they need help, that the government is there to help them out, for a limited amount of time. I mean, great. That sounds great, but if you want, like in this is in Minneapolis, what Waltz has helped put in place, 5 babies were reported to be born alive after aborted abortions. So, and they were just left to die. So you got a baby born alive, a few of them viable, could have just lived. No, they just killed them. Right? That's not what anyone wants, but that's what Waltz has put in place. So, that's, I mean, myself personally, life begins at conception for me, because I base my values and everything on biblical standards, and that's kind of where I think God puts that. But, we don't need people who are that extreme, running our government, and that's the Harris Waltz ticket is that. I mean, if you don't, I know people don't like Trump, but would 4 years of Trump really be another 4 years of Trump? Would it really be that bad? I mean, you bring home more money, your gas would be cheap. You'd be able to afford some things, that you can't now. Maybe pay off some credit cards, get yourself back to a stable place. I think Elon Musk actually towards the end said it exactly as it should be said, which is civilization is at a fork in the road. And much of the civilization of the world is driven a lot by two countries. It's driven by the United States and it's driven by Israel. There's so many technology things and so many things that come out of Israel. They are truly a blessed people of God, and people that follow them and help them are also blessed by God. That's in the Bible, so I got to believe it. So, and I do. So, but this fork in the road. I mean, if the United States goes away from God and away in this direction that these super left liberals want to take it, the country's gonna. I think the country's gonna have to break apart. I mean, we're gonna have separate. Like, I would be open to Florida becoming the country of Florida and just removing itself from the United States at that point. But yeah, it's a little bit. But that really hit me right there at the end. We're at a fork in the road of civilization itself, and I think we all need to take note of that. I think we all need to put aside all of the, anger and you can't talk to him or you can't do this or you can't, don't say this and whatever, and just kind of sit down. I mean, this is the big thing, right? I did see that supposedly Kamala Harris was also invited to sit down with Elon Musk, and she refused because she's not off teleprompter. She's just not personable. She's not just seems to not be intelligent and not able to do anything off. The puppet strings have to be pulled, by the far left, and that's, not what we need for the country. We need some. As crazy as people think Donald Trump is, he's actually the most. When you listen to him talk, when you listen to him speak about things, even when I was watching him doing that golf video, he was just like, oh, look at that. There's just trees over there. Those are amazing. We plant those and they just grow. And, we got all this stuff here. People just love to come here and do all that, and golf and have, they didn't talk about politics at all. They just talked about normal, everyday things in life. Granted, Trump's got a lot more money than most people, but still just some kind of normal things. And I just can't see, Kamala doing anything like that. Sitting around doing things, that seem halfway normal, halfway family oriented. So anyway, those are kind of my thoughts over and above what's going on with this whole thing. There were, quite a few, many millions of people watching, and I'm sure there's going to be more people over the next, week that's are going to find that and listen to it. Just an amazing common sense, normal conversation of, two people and even disagreeing a little bit, about some things, I mean, I don't, Elon Musk has an electric car company. Trump wants to drill for oil, right? Are can those be compatible? Sure. They came to a thing. Yeah, we need to do that. Elon Musk is like, yeah, I know we need to do that. And Donald Trump is like, yeah, you got a great car company. I'll never buy an electric car, but still. Right. So anyway, there we go. If you got any other comments or want to know and discuss what happened on the audio interview with Trump and Musk, then just comment down below and talk to you again.